Welcome to this comprehensive guide on installing XAMPP, your one-stop shop for web development. So, what exactly is XAMPP? It's a free, open-source software distribution package that allows you to develop and test web applications locally on your computer. XAMPP is an acronym with each letter representing a key component. X for cross-platform, A for Apache, M for MySQL, P for PHP, and the final P for Perl. These components work together to create a local web server where you can test and deploy your web applications. Think of XAMPP as the perfect sandbox for your web development projects. It's an essential tool for both beginners and experienced developers alike, offering a simple way to work on PHP applications without the need for live hosting. Now that we understand what XAMPP is and its role in web development, we can move on to the installation process. Before we dive into the installation process, it's crucial to ensure our systems meet the necessary requirements. For XAMPP to run smoothly on your computer, there are certain hardware and software prerequisites that you need to keep in mind. Let's start with hardware. A processor with a speed of 1 GHz or more is recommended, along with at least 1 GB of RAM, although 2 GB or more would be ideal for optimal performance. Additionally, you'll need about 200 MB of free disk space. Now, onto the software side of things. XAMPP is cross-platform, meaning it works on various operating systems, including Windows, Linux, and macOS. For Windows, you'll need Windows 7 or newer, while for Linux, most distributions will do the trick. Also, keep in mind that you'll need a web browser for accessing the XAMPP control panel and your local websites. This could be Chrome, Firefox, Safari, or any other browser of your choice. With these requirements in place, we are ready to download XAMPP. The first step to installing XAMPP is, of course, downloading it. To do this, we'll need to navigate to the official XAMPP website. This is the hub where all versions of XAMPP are housed, ready for us to grab and utilize. Once you're on the site, you'll notice there are different versions of XAMPP available for download. It's important to select the version that corresponds to your operating system. Whether you're running Windows or Linux, there's a tailored version of XAMPP for you. After you've selected the appropriate version, it's time to hit that download button. Your download will begin immediately, and depending on your internet speed, it could take a few minutes to complete. And just like that, you've successfully downloaded XAMPP onto your system. It's a straightforward process, but a crucial one, setting the foundation for everything that comes next. With the download complete, we're ready to start the installation. Let's start with installing XAMPP on a Windows machine. The process is pretty straightforward. Once you've downloaded the XAMPP installer from the official website, locate the installer file, typically in your Downloads folder, and double-click it to run. You might encounter a warning message from your user account control asking if you want to allow the app to make changes to your device. Don't worry, this is normal. Click Yes to proceed. The XAMPP setup wizard should now appear. It's a friendly guide that will walk you through the rest of the installation process. Click Next to move forward. The next screen you will see is the Select Components screen. Here you can choose the components you want to install. The essential components for a standard web development environment are Apache, MySQL, PHP, and Perl. Unless you have specific requirements, you should leave the default selections as they are. After selecting your components, you'll be asked to choose an installation directory. The default location is usually fine for most users, but if you prefer a different location, feel free to change it. Just remember where you've installed XAMPP, as you'll need to navigate to this folder later when running your local server. Click Next once more, and the installation process will begin. It might take a few minutes, so feel free to grab a cup of tea or coffee while you wait. Once the installation is complete, you'll see a final screen confirming your successful installation. You can choose to start the XAMPP control panel immediately by leaving the "Do you want to start the control panel now?" Option checked. Click Finish to wrap up the installation process. And there you have it. You've just installed XAMPP on your Windows machine. By doing so, you've equipped yourself with a powerful tool that will make your web development projects much more manageable. Congratulations, you've successfully installed XAMPP on your Windows machine. Now let's move on to installing XAMPP on a Linux system. First things first, we need to make the downloaded XAMPP file executable. This might sound like a daunting task, but it's actually quite simple. All you need to do is navigate to the directory where the file is saved. Once you're there, right-click on the file and select Properties. In the Permissions tab, check the box that says Allow executing file as program. And voila, your file is now ready to run. Next, we're going to open the terminal. You can do this by pressing Ctrl+Alt+T or by searching for terminal in your applications. Once the terminal is open, you're going to navigate to the directory where your XAMPP file is located. You can do this by typing cd followed by the directory path. For example, if your file is in the Downloads folder, you would type cd downloads. Now, it's time to run the installer. This can be done by typing followed by the name of your XAMPP file. Make sure to include the run extension. For example, if your file is named XAMPP Linux x647 4.50 installer.run, you would type u/XAMPP Linux x647 4.50 installer.run. After you hit enter, the installer will begin running. The setup process is quite straightforward. You'll be prompted to select which components you'd like to install. If you're unsure, don't worry. The default selection includes everything you'll need to get started with web development. Just follow the prompts and you'll be finished in no time. Last but not least, we need to verify the installation. You can do this by opening your web browser and typing localhost in the address bar. If the XAMPP dashboard appears, congratulations, your installation was successful. If not, don't fret. Go back and double-check each step to make sure everything was done correctly. Well done. You've now installed XAMPP on your Linux system. Now that we've gone through the installation process, let's summarize the key steps. Firstly, we tackled the system requirements. For both Windows and Linux, it's crucial to ensure your system meets the prerequisites. This includes having enough storage space and ensuring your operating system is compatible. Remember, XAMPP is quite flexible, supporting a wide range of OS versions. However, it's always a good idea to check the official website for the latest compatibility information. The next step was downloading XAMPP. We visited the official XAMPP website, navigated to the download section, and chose the appropriate version for our operating system. It's important to note that XAMPP is available in different versions, each bundled with different versions of Apache, MySQL, PHP, and other components. Therefore, depending on your project's needs, you might need a specific version of XAMPP. Then, we focused on the installation process, which varies slightly between Windows and Linux. On Windows, we launched the installer, went through the setup wizard, and chose the components we wanted to install. We emphasized the importance of selecting only the components you need to avoid unnecessary resource consumption. For instance, if you're not planning to work with Perl, there's no need to install it. On Linux, the process was a bit more command line intensive, but not less straightforward. We made the installer executable, ran it, and followed the prompts. We also highlighted the significance of running the installer as a super user to avoid permission issues. Remember, while the installation process might seem a bit daunting at first, it's actually quite straightforward. It's all about understanding what each step does and why it's necessary. And don't forget, if you ever run into trouble, there's a vast community of developers out there who've probably faced the same issue and found a solution. Remember, practice makes perfect, so don't hesitate to go through the process a few times until you're comfortable. Happy coding!